Hey there, YouTubers. Thanks for tuning in. Today, Excel VBA is fun. By the way, I'm Dan Strong. Today we're going to make a calendar, and I know a lot of people work on calendars. We're going to make one dynamically using Visual Basic, and so I thought it'd be a good idea to show you how to do that. Let's just do one from scratch here. Very quickly, I guess we're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, obviously days in the week, to all have the same width, just for starters. Let's put a date here. We'll have it be in this cell right here. We'll come back to that in a minute. We could like start our calendar right about here, and I'm just going to put a place marker there. We can make that regular in a minute. So let's have the date be, let's say it was we could have that just show the month by holding Control and hitting 1, and we could format that date as the word January or something like this. Let's see here. So go to Custom, and we'll just do the month, M. And you see right there, January. Jackpot, right? So there's the month that you want to use. Or you might want to use the month and year. Let's use MMMM space YYYY, January 2013. And we got that just from typing in 1-1. What if I typed 1-2-2013? It'll still say January 2013 because of the formatting that we put on there. So it doesn't matter. We'll start right here on B4. And let's just run through some scenarios. Hit Alt F11 in our brand new, fresh, clean macro here. And we'll create one in a module here. So we're going to call this one CreateCalendar. And of course we're going to declare this worksheet. So we'll call it csheet, as in calendar sheet. We're going to declare that as a worksheet. And then we'll set up csheet to equal ThisWorkbook.Sheets. And we'll call it, I believe it's sheet 1. We could change the name later if we felt like, and then we'd have to rename it here so it would identify csheet correctly. Alright, let's see, what is our starting column? Column 2. Starting column is 2. And starting row, it looks like it's row 4 is what we decided. We can update that in a little bit. Then we need to, so we've established that, and what we could do is have our date of choice, or our selected date, if you will, is going to be equal to whatever's in cell B1. So I'm just going to say B1 and put it in these little evaluate square brackets. So we're pretty much set up. Let's debug through what we have so far by hitting F8 a few times. Selected date is 1/1/2013. Starting column, starting row, etc. is all set up now. So we're starting at csheet.cells, and then when we do cells, we have to give the row index number first. So how about starting row, whatever starting row we said, and the stCol. So right now it would be on row 4, column 2. And what does that equal? That is going to equal, how about the first of the month? Or, let's see, what would that be? Well, no, okay. What we need to do is figure out, let's just do this. Sunday, Monday. In fact, I'm just going to, because Sunday's always going to be in position 1. I just realized. So this is not always going to be the first day of the month, is it? No. This one might be the first of the month in one month and different in another one. So I apologize. Let's go back onto here and we'll run some code. I'm going to comment that out for just a second. What we need to do is determine what weekday the first is. So let's do that now. So if weekday of our selected date is 1, then So basically, if the weekday of our date is a 1, then it's a Sunday. If the weekday results in a 2, then we need to use this column, 3, this column, 4, etc. That's how we get our starting point. So if the weekday is 1, then it's a Sunday. So then really our starting column needs to be column 2. Otherwise, if the weekday, I'm going to start copying and pasting here in a second. If that is 2, then starting column is 3. And let's copy and paste a little bit, shall we? When you are copying and pasting, it's a good idea to double check your work though. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days in the week. There is no more else's. And if, okay, so if it ends up being a 2, then we'll start on column 3. If it's a 3, then we need to go to column 4. If the weekday is a 4, then we need to start on column 5. If it's a 5, 6, oops, I keep doing that wrong. Then it's a 7, let's see. And if it's a 7, then column 8, which is H. So we should be set. Forget this starting column business. We actually have to determine. Let's debug through that. Let's see what's going on here. January 1st, 2013. So we're getting the weekday of that. If the weekday of this date is 1, it's not a 1. Otherwise, if it's a 2, nope. If it's a 3, it is a 3. That means it's a Tuesday was the first of the month, and we can verify that with our little calendar here, as if we needed to. Let's see, January 1st was a Tuesday. How do you like that? So our starting column is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 with Tuesday. Fantastic. Starting column is going to be 4. If I hit F8, we see that the starting column is 4. Now we can uncomment that, because we're going to work with that. Starting row, starting column should be accurate, because starting row is going to start out as 4 no matter what. So the starting one is going to be the first of the month. So we're going to use DateSerial, and we will use the year of our selected date, and we'll use which month are we going to use? The month of the selected date, but the day is going to be the first. And we might even trap that in a variable. Probably should, shouldn't we? Alright, here I go. I'm going to control, and then let's just call this fMon, the first of the month, right? Equals that. So we are going to have our first of the month be that. Then we're taking the year of our date, the month of our date, which would be 1, and the year would be 2013. And then the day would be our first of the month, obviously, is always going to be 1. The day is the 1, the first. So now we can kind of play around with that. We can say, first month equals whatever that variable is plus 1, and that would be the second of the month, and then the third, and so on. And then whenever we reach Saturday, if the weekday is 6, which is a Saturday, then we can go to a new line. Simple. So, and we could just keep this fMon going. So, let's go ahead and move on then. Let's see. So our starting row, starting column is going to be fMon. In fact, let's just say fMon, because if we're going to be typing that a lot, it'll be easier. First of the month. Okay. Hitting F8, first of the month is 1/1/2013, sure enough. And csheet, that's this worksheet that we're on, .cells, so the row is row 4, the column is column 4, because we're going to be on Tuesday, and row right here, and that's going to be equal that. So let's go ahead and let's see here. Let's make a loop. Let's make a loop. For x equals 1 to 1 to 31, because there's a maximum of 31 days in a month. We can stop it prematurely if the month is over with. Next, x. So we've created a loop here, and then we'll add some settings there in a minute as we see that we need them. So hit F8 with me. You notice it put 1/1/2013 there, and now we'll go to the next x. Oh, whoopsie. I need to actually go through this loop here. Alright, so, alright. Now x is starting with 1, so it'll do that again. And after we do that, what do we want to do? We want the starting column number, or whatever column number we're on, currently 4, to be incremented to column 5, or 6, or 7, or 8, but not 9, right? If we're on a Saturday, then we want to go back to column 2 and then keep on going with the loop. So we need to make some kind of if-then statement before this happens. So if no, we need to do it afterwards, I suppose. You'll see why. Hit F8. Okay, right now we don't have any if-then statements, so let's see what happens normally. X is now 2, so it's the second time we run this code, whatever it may be. So, Okay, it looks like we might need to put something on there for the very first time it runs. One thing that you could do is you could say if, I don't know, if first time, or if first t, or anything you want to do. If first t equals empty, then, and of course this variable would be empty, wouldn't it? Because we haven't done anything with it. And I'll show you what I'm doing here. If this is empty, then go ahead and just put the very first of the month and don't add anything to it, the first time only. And then of course we're going to say first t is not empty. Let's just fill it with something. Equals, I don't know, have it equal to be 1, equal to be the word Tennessee, who cares? And now it's not empty, so every time it passed through here, it will no longer be empty except for the first time. Else, so every other time, normally, besides the first of the month, we're going to take this row and column that we're on and have it be the last date that we did plus 1. So fMon plus 1, that would be the day after. So, and then we can do an end if for that little if-then statement. So here's what that looks like. If first t, actually let's start this loop over here. If first time, or first t equals empty, yes it is, then go ahead and put the first of the month in whatever cell we've designated. And now we're making it not empty by putting something, the number 1 for example, in that variable. So now it's not empty. So the next time we loop through, it says, is first t empty? Well, no, it equals 1. So now, from now on, we'll skip on, and we won't do our little first time loop there. You can do that any way you see fit, but that's just a little cheat you can do, a little trick you can do there. So now, also, what we want to do here, before we do that, we need to say if the weekday of whatever in the world that cell is. How about if the weekday of this, I'm just copying and pasting, put another parentheses, if the weekday of that equals 6, that's it, as also saying this is a Saturday. Or you could say if starting column is column 8 in this case, you could say that too. And we could say that. If starting column, or if stCol equals 8, then the next time around, stCol is going to be equal to column 2 because we want to start over for Sunday for our next thing there. Else, so otherwise, starting column is going to be equal to whatever column it already is plus 1, and say end if. So we're building as we go, aren't we? We're actually going to copy that. There's no point in copying it here and having the identical thing right here. We could just say that after this, and that would save a little bit of coding and a little space. So Control X, and we'll just do it after that if-then statement. Ooh, looks like it didn't indent properly. Shift Tab will unindent, if you will, all that stuff here. So now we have a pretty well working code. Let's start over, okay? So hit F8. We know that the dates and all that works. We have the starting column, that it's going to be column 4. In fact, I'm even going to clear this out here. So if first t equals empty, it sure is, then we do our thing that we only do the first time around. So that is going to be the first of the month. And our first time thing is now being filled, so it's no longer going to be empty. So from now on, okay, so is starting column equal to 8? No, it's only on column 4 right now. So that we're not going to put it back to Sunday. We will say starting column equals stCol plus 1. So now we're going to be on column 5. So let's see what happens here. It's going to be the last date that we did plus 1. Ooh, you know what? That's always going to do the second of the month. So we don't want that, do we? We want to take fMon and actually make that itself plus 1 so that the variable will carry on over. So I apologize. Let's see. So first of the month equals first of the month plus 1. So if I hit F8, it'll now be the second of the month. And this is going to be equal to whatever that date is. So let's check that out. Hit F8. And is starting column 8? Nope. Then we'll just increment it by 1. Now we do this again. It's now going to be the third of the month. And we have incremented the column to column 6, so it should put the right date. Yep, that's the third. Alright. Alright, so let's go through a little bit more here, a little quicker, excuse me, not quicklier, goodness. Now, here we are at column 8, so plop the date in there. If starting column equals 8, it sure is. Then starting column is going to be 2, and what are we going to do? How many cells do we want to be typable? Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. Is 4 enough? So we want to take our stRow and make it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more. So starting row equals starting row plus 5. Alright, so let's do that really quick. That's what we want to happen. stRow equals 5 in the event that we're going to a new line. And stColumn is going to be column 2 again, so that we can keep going from Sunday all the way to Saturday and then loop it over and over again. Hope that makes sense. Give me a comment if it doesn't make sense. So now starting column is 2. Starting row is now going to be, what do we say, stRow plus 5. So when I do that little math there by hitting F8, it is now going to be row 9. That should be interesting. So I'm hitting F8, F8. Now we're going to see that the date is going to the 6th, but now the starting row is 9 and the column is 2 for that date. So hit that. Hey, there we go. So we're pretty well on our way, and I know it looks really dumb having these dates here, but you're gonna see what's going on in just a second. because we're going to format those and it will be no problem. In fact, let's just hit F5 and see what happens. I'm going to save, of course. I need to save really quick. Hold on a sec. Okay, we're back. I just saved that. I'm going to hit F5 and see what happens. Shoo. So I'm going to minimize this for a second. So we have the 1st through the 31st. Doesn't look like much. Let's highlight all of these lovely little columns here, or excuse me, rows, and hit Control 1. We're going to format them as a date, but as a special custom format. We're going to say D, or we could just say D. You can either have it like 01, 02, 03, or you can just, if you put a D there, then it'll just be 1, 2, 3. So let's hit OK, and voila, 1, 2, 3. What do you know? So I could type any date I wanted here. Let's say if I put 5/9/2016, it would just show up as the 9 because we formatted it as just the days. I'm going to Control Z to undo that. But you see our calendars quickly coming together. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Let's highlight all these and Control B to make them bold. Might even want them centered, I don't know. I'll take the yellow off of there. No fill. We will probably do some stuff with some borders pretty soon here. Like you might want to, no, not all borders, my goodness. You might want to do either a thick box or just a regular box like that. You can hit F4 to redo the last command. So I'm hitting F4. So maybe that's something you might want to do. Okay. And you may want to have more cells in between these boxes. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and finish that up and I'll unpause in a moment. Alright, so that was actually pretty easy. We may have something, you may want to put something on the beginning of your code that takes like this row, and this row, and this row, and this row, or at least the cells that you want, and do a little clear contents of these here. Especially if you're going to type in a date and have that snap in a new calendar on there. It's something you might want to consider. We might go over that here in a second. But let's just say, yeah, let's go ahead and do that. We'll back up and go to our right here, and we'll just clear last calendar by saying rows. The first one that we want to delete is 4. Rows 4.ClearContents. Should do it. We'll copy that. Control C, Control V, Control V, Control V, Control V, I believe. So we're going to do row 4, row 9, row 14, 19, 24. So we're going to clear all those. So let's try that F8, 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 F8. Rows 4.ClearContents. There goes that one. Rows 9 ClearContents. So we just cleared the whole calendar pretty much by clearing those particular rows. So, and then let's change the date here. Let's do, how about February 1, 2013. Let's see what happens. I'm going to hit F5 and take a look at our work here. Pretty sure February doesn't have 31 days, so that's a little odd. Let's take a look at what happened, shall we? Put a stopper there. Let's go ahead and clear out everything. And I wonder what happened. Let's see. The weekday for that is going to be, looks like, is that a Friday? Yeah. So then the first of the month is 2/1/2013, of course. And then we're going from 1 to 31. Interesting. Well, we might want to trap the last of the month, lMon. And that's going to be, Excel has a built-in end of the month thing, function, Application.WorksheetFunction.EoMonth, and we'll get the end of the month for fMon, and our guess we'll do 0 months in the future. You could put 1 or 2 or 5 or whatever. We just want the end of that month. So let's backtrack a little bit and see if it worked. The fMon is that. lMon, or last of the month, is 41333. Well, of course it is. How about CDate? CDate is an awesome thing that converts whatever serial number expression into an actual workable date that we recognize. 228, there we go, 2/28/2013. So we could actually say for x equals 1 to day of lMon. Hope that makes sense. The day of lMon is 28. That's the last of the month, and we're taking the day out of it, not the month, which is 2, not the year, which is 2013, but the day, which is 28. So for x equals 1 to, in this case, 28. In an event that a month's last day was 31, it would be for x equals 1 to 31 days. So that way, if I hit F5, it'll only go to 28. So that's one way to skin that cat. Hey, we went to 28. Now, last thing that we have to do is, I would like to do something where when the user clicks on or changes the date on this particular cell B1, that it will run our little calendar routine here. So I'm double clicking on the name of our procedure, CreateCalendar, and I'm Control-C copying it because I want to go to that worksheet right here. For sheet 1, right click and go to View Code. The other way to do that is find sheet 1 right here and double click on it to access the code. I'm going to click single click here on worksheet. We don't want a selection change, we want a worksheet change event, because I don't care where they select or click around on, I care where they change. We want to see if they change. The target would be B1 in this case. So if target, if the changed thing is B1, then how about target.address? If target.address using regular address, not any $signs, but if that regular old address is equal to the text string B1, then we want to run our code, otherwise don't do anything. So then we're going to call that macro. We're going to call upon the CreateCalendar macro if B1 is the cell that has been changed. Pretty sweet. It should do it, guys. Nothing more to it. Let's put 5, 1, 20, 15. Hit enter. And what have I done now? Let's see here. That's interesting. Let's trap it and see what happened there. Let's put 5, 1, 20, 2015. I'm hitting enter. So we did create trigger the change. Target address is B1. Hit F8. Call CreateCalendar. There's CreateCalendar. So select the date is B1. Yes. Which is 5/1/2015. Starting row is 4. Clearing the when we clear the contents, we trigger the thing again. Doesn't do anything there, but it does trigger it an awful lot. Okay. And there's a way to disable that, but I'm not going to mess with it. If weekday of selected date is 1, blah blah blah. Just debugging through to see what happened. So it looks like the column is going to be 7, so it must have been a Friday. First of the month is 5/1/2015. And the last of the month is 5/31, so X is 1 to 31. And so we're going through our thing. And interesting. Where did it go wrong? I'm going to trap it right here. So if the conditions were ever met, it'll stop right there. I'm going to hit F5. Okay, that's weird. Very strange. I don't know why that ended up there. Let's try another one. How about 1/1/2014? So hit F5. Alright, well now it's magically working. I'm going to hit save and we're going to go through this. I'm going to take this little thing off there. How about 5/1/2015 again? So, oh, the 31st is trying to, okay. It's starting here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 30th of the month. 31st is trying to go here. So, that's interesting, isn't it? So we might actually have to accommodate for in the event that there was ever, ooh, that's interesting. So we actually need to make one more line, one more row disappear, and the possibility of it ending up here. So let's rig that up really quick. Control-1, custom, and we're going to make that D for day, so it looks like that. And then we need to do that. Hit F4 a few times to get the borders all pretty. Okay, so we're done with that. Then we need to tell it rows 29 to also clear contents when we run that macro. So rows 29.clearContents also needs to happen. It's very simple to do and to fix. And then now we should be set. I'm excited. I'm going to hit save my progress here. And we can put another date in there. How about 9/5/2033? Hit enter. And somebody might want to check their calendar. But as far as I know, it just cleared out the last one and put this one in here. I'm going to go ahead and Control U to underline these or something. I might even make them, give them a background color. I don't know. Whatever you want to do there, guys, is your baby now. But whatever, something like that. So let's just do it one more time, just to reiterate. There's your calendar shifting with 5/15/2011, December 25th, 2013. It doesn't matter what day, because it's always going to get the first of the month and then start with there. So guys, hey, check it out. That's a calendar. Oh snap. Now you saw how we did that. If you wanted to have, I don't know, if you only wanted one cell there and to make it really big like this, and then just to have it skip over 1, 2 cells, you could do that really easily by just changing you could change that starting row is going to be starting row plus 2 instead of 5. I happen to want to jump over 2, 3, 4, 5 cells each time, but you don't have to set up that way. You can tweak it any way you like. Anyway, that is a dynamic calendar. You can make it much prettier and makes, you know, maybe merge that, God forbid, and it should still work. So yeah, there it is. It just worked. So thank you for watching this calendar presentation, and